Hey everyone, so we have a video that was requested by a subscriber. This is going to be your future spouse's physical appearance. So we have 3 groups to choose from today. For pile 1, we have this spirit cat message. Here we have pile 2 and pile 3. So the timestamps are going to be listed below in the description box. We're going to use the Astro Dice today. We've got some Oracle cards we'll be shuffling on camera. And we're also going to use our little grab bag and then the Spark Romance Matchsticks. I feel like I haven't used these in a while, so we're going to use these too just to like close out your reading for fun. And yeah, let's get into it. Hi pile 1, so if you chose the blue kitty cat, you are in the right place. We actually chose this oracle message for you as well, but we'll use this to close out your reading. So I'm going to put these to the side and let's start with your tarot. So I was drawn to the Mystic Faerie Tarot for your group, and I have a feeling that your future spouse will definitely be someone who has very pretty like bone structure. Like even if you're interested in a man, they're still gonna have nice facial features that would be considered beautiful. Do you know what I mean? Kind of like the sort of facial features that would be sculpted in marble. Do you know what I mean? Like they have very defined. If it's a woman, it's going to be more delicate, but even as a man, you're going to be like, wow, they're beautiful. Do you know what I mean? Like there's still an element there of them being very pretty, even as a man. So it's not like for group 2, I was more drawn to the Green Witch Tarot, and I was like, oh, this is going to be kind of like a rugged man. Whereas with your group, it's more of like, no, they're like they're very almost like pristine, clean cut, like their clothes would be never wrinkled, never rumpled. This person isn't walking around in sweatpants. Like they do have a very defined style, I would say. Also, I'm picking up their hair too. Like their hair is always styled, you know, and even if there's someone, I'm kind of being drawn to like Russell Brand or like Johnny Depp. Like yes, their style is a bit more like rock and roll or a little bit more bohemian, but it still clearly takes time and effort. Like they're still clearly styled, you know what I mean, and like accessorized. So I feel like your future spouse has a very clear style that is unique to them and is definitely all their own and something that they put effort and time into. They like to look nice, they like to look polished, but in their way. Do you know what I mean? So not necessarily like clean cut, preppy kind of look, but just in a sense of like, this is how I feel put together and I'm not gonna leave the house until I am put together. Yeah, and I also feel like this is someone, if you are interested in a man, this is someone who balances out the masculinity and the femininity really well. So like, yes, they're really handsome, but they're also beautiful, you know what I mean? Like there's something about their features that kind of just feels like artwork. Sorry, Gracie's been so hyper in the mornings and I don't know why. So that's what I've just been picking up just from the energy of the deck itself. I want to get one more card. I saw the 3 of Swords as I was moving the cards just now. I feel like your future spouse may have been a little bit of a heartbreaker. Not intentionally necessarily, but just that everyone knows that this person, I feel like before they meet you, they kind of have this reputation of like the forever bachelor or the forever like single girl who can't be bothered. Like they don't care, you know, about settling down until they meet you. And it's not that they're, you know, out there breaking hearts intentionally. It's just that they're honest with people and they're like, hey, like, I'm just not interested in anything serious. Like, I'm just looking to have a good time, have some fun. It kind of reminds me of Summer in 500 Days of Summer, where she keeps telling Tom over and over again, you know, like, let's just have fun. Like, I'm not interested in marriage or whatever, a long-term commitment. Let's just enjoy the time that we have, whatever, whatever. And then finally, of course, they break up because Tom, is like a hopeless romantic. And then when they break up, you find out Summer is engaged to be married. And so Tom is like, WTF, Summer? And Summer says, it's just, I'm sure of him, and I was never sure of you, and I'm sure of him, and I can't explain it. But you were right, Tom, like, love is real. And so I kind of feel like that's the energy when you and your future spouse get together, is that some of their past, like, situationships or casual flings may be a little bit salty, or their family or their friends may be shocked or maybe not believe your future spouse when they say that they're ready to settle down, but it's just because there's something about you that they're very sure of. Now, I know I'm getting like a little bit off topic, but the message came through, so I wanted to say it. Okay, let's get into your actual tarot cards. We have the Knight of Swords, we have the Eight of Cups, we have the King of Swords, we have the Fool card, we have the Two of Pentacles, and we have the Three of Wands. So even if it's a woman that you're interested in, they're still going to present with mostly a masculine energy. I mean, you can see the King of Swords here. Like, there's an element there of, like, they look really intimidating, right? So even if it's a woman, they're still going to have this, like, masculine, assertive, almost stoic kind of energy. And that's why I say they're kind of like, the brooding, like, heartthrob in the corner of the room that everyone's talking about, but you're afraid to talk to, because they just have this kind of edge to them. Like, yes, they're very put together. Like, you see, oh my gosh, Gracie. Kitty. No, Kitty. Well, okay. I'm so sorry, pile one. Look, I had this all nice. Okay. Anyway, you see all of the, like, ornate decoration on his boots, right? And even his top. Like, there's something feminine about it, and yet it's still very masculine. And, like, look at his stern expression. Like, I feel like your future spouse doesn't like to get into their feelings a lot. Like, they definitely prefer, like, intellectual conversations. They prefer witty banter, kind of like an enemies to lovers vibe, maybe. They might tease you as they flirt with you. They have, like, this playful side to them, but it's in a way where, if you weren't used to that kind of sense of humor, it's almost like a British kind of dry sense of humor. Like, if you weren't used to that, or if you were someone who is maybe, like, more sensitive, someone who, maybe you have a little bit more of a fragile ego, maybe you wouldn't know how to take it, but I feel like you and this person click. Obviously, it's your future spouse, but I feel like you get their energy right away. But yeah, I definitely feel like it's kind of a dry sense of humor. You guys are going to connect, via the intellectual conversations and stuff. But I also feel like part of what draws your future spouse to you is that you aren't intimidated by them, whereas most other people are. And so you kind of bring out this softer side to them, this feminine side to them that is there, but in a way where it's no longer just superficial, like, oh, they're into style and they care about their hair. That seems a bit feminine, like stereotypically feminine. But, in terms of, like, the deeper stuff, like the emotions, I feel like you bring out that side to them. Yeah, I definitely kind of feel like this person will be pretty tall. Yeah, I don't know why that's coming through, but I feel like they're going to be pretty tall, or at least taller than you. And I feel like there's something about their hands that you really like. I don't know if it's just, maybe there's like a size difference between you that you kind of are into. I don't know why that's coming through, but it is. Or like broad-shouldered. I feel like you like that. But I don't feel like they're very, like, they're definitely toned. I do think they work out, but more so of like a swimmer's body, you know what I mean? Or like a runner's body, not like someone who does a ton of weightlifting. Like they're not gonna have these like massive muscles, but they're definitely like, you can tell that they work out. So like they're toned, but they're still slender, if that makes sense. They don't look like the guys, they don't look like the husbands on the cast of The Real Housewives of New Jersey. If you watch that, then you know what I mean. Like, they're the opposite of that. Okay, so let's continue onward. With the Knight of Swords, like, I do feel like your future spouse has had like a little bit of a glow up before they meet you. Like they've always been attractive, but I kind of feel like this could be the energy of someone who was always on the thinner side. You know, maybe they were like tall and lanky, but then they started working out more consistently and they got really ripped, you know, or maybe they played sports in high school, but they never like had a consistent gym routine, something like that. Because I do feel like with the Knight to the King, there is a little bit of a glow up energy, or maybe your future spouse has, you know, figured out something with their style or their hair and they've changed it and it looks quite nice. I do feel like your person has a deeper voice that's coming through as well. I also feel like there's something about, obviously, like it's your future spouse, so like pheromones are at play here, but I definitely feel like you like the way that they smell. I feel like there's a specific cologne that they have that you really, really like, and it's the cologne they wear all the time, and I feel like it's a unisex. Like I don't feel like it's overpoweringly, it's early in the morning, I can't hardly talk. It's not an overwhelming smell. You know how, especially like young kids, like my little brother, oh my gosh, like spraying like half a bottle of Axe all over him, it's not like that. You know, it's a good smell and it's not too masculine. Like it definitely has like a softer edge to it, which is nice. Yeah, and I feel like too with this Eight of Cups here, like part of the physical appeal of your future spouse is the fact that they have this like quiet confidence to them. Like they have no problems leaving behind anything that's not serving them, and I feel like that creates a magnetism to them. Like there's a glint in their eye, like there's a little bit of a devilish kind of like vibe here where you know like this person's like not gonna stick around. Like if you're messing around, not taking them seriously, like they're not the type to chase you indefinitely. You know what I mean? Like even though they're certain of you and they feel this strong connection, they kind of have this like laid back, too cool for school attitude of like, well, whatever, like you'll be back. You know what I mean? Like they're like, you know what, I'm only gonna chase you so far. I'm gonna give you some space now and you'll be back. Like that's their attitude and that draws you in so much. And I also feel like there's also a side to them that feels quite protective with this Eight of Cups as well. Like kind of like here, like this dragonfly is coming in and is like, let me get you out of this bad situation. Like I do feel like, just as a side note, I'm kind of just letting the messages flow today. Like if we get more messages beyond the physical appearance, I'm cool with that. I hope you're cool with that. I'm just letting the messages flow. I definitely feel like if you're in a sort of a sticky situation or a bind, or if someone's talking smack to you, like your future spouse will come in and remove you from that situation very quickly. I also feel like part of it, your future spouse is the kind of person who can stop an argument or a heated discussion in its tracks with just saying something in the calmest way. Like they're always calm, but they're very firm. Like with this sword, like they just cut through the BS and they're like, we're leaving. And I feel like you're kind of drawn to that, because if this is a man, it's not in this macho chauvinist, like, oh, you're a damsel in distress, I've got to save you. It's not that energy. It's just, I'm stepping up and you're my partner, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't feel like they're saying you can't handle the situation. It's more of them saying you don't deserve to deal with this kind of situation. Okay. And then with the Fool here, I do feel like this person could look younger than what they are. And I think that may be more so, again, in terms of their energy. Again, I'm being drawn to like Johnny Depp and Russell Brand and like Jared Leto, like that kind of guy. If it is a man. I think for most of you this is a man, I'm not gonna lie. It's just something about the energy here. If it's a woman, maybe kind of like Ruby Rose, that kind of energy. But, you know, like Johnny Depp was sitting there like during the trial, like eating candy and like, you know, it's like a very like tense, serious, you know, situation where all of his personal business is being shown to the world for everyone to judge, and it was probably very traumatic. But he's sitting there still just eating candy, you know, like making little jokes with his lawyers, you know, his team. And I think there's something about that, like even when things are like very serious and heavy, your future spouse has this energy of kind of a kid, you know, like I feel like that's their way of emotionally distancing themselves from things that are hard. So they may like tell jokes at inappropriate times, or they may have like a sneaky grin on their face, like they're laughing at something they know they shouldn't. But also like I feel like they just or someone who's gonna like age slowly, or someone who's not gonna show their age until much, much later in life, or even if they do start to get, you know, like wrinkles around their eyes and things like that, I feel like the minute they smile, the minute they grin or they laugh, it's like the years melt away. Like it's more than just their physical appearance, it's their energy. I hope I'm making that clear. It's the way in which they carry themselves. Yeah. And I feel like this person just, again, like it's something about his posture here that just commands respect. But yet he seems very unbothered. That's a skill. That's a skill to master, I have to say that. Yeah, I do feel like in terms of their physical body, you're going to be very into it, especially if you're a woman wanting a man with the swords. I feel like you can figure that out. With the Three of Wands too, I definitely feel like there's a sense of adventure with your future spouse like right away. And again, because they in the past haven't been someone that's been tied down, and so I feel like again that's part of their appeal, part of their mystique, you know, everybody's talking kind of thing, like when is this person gonna settle down, kind of like with George Clooney when everyone was like, man, when is he gonna get married, you know, that kind of thing. I also feel like just the way that he's like carefully looking through this book here makes me think that your future spouse does look through like magazines and catalogs, or they do a lot of online shopping. Again, like this person's style is important to them. They may have more like products for like skincare or hair than you do, you know, that kind of thing. I think it may surprise you because this person kind of has, again, that cool, like effortless vibe. But then when you go to their home for the first time and you're like looking around in their bathroom and you're like, wow, they have a lot of face serums. I was not expecting this, you know, something like that. I feel like this person puts a lot of effort in, but they make it look effortless. Let's see. They definitely could have darker eyes and darker hair, you know, just with the coloring here. Also, you know, this is the Faerie deck. Like maybe they have, you know, ears that are interesting in some way. You know, maybe they're a little bit pointy. If you're thinking of a woman, Ariana Grande comes to mind for sure. Ariana Grande comes to mind. I also feel like this person will have very nice collarbones. Nice collarbones, and they will have very defined brows. That's coming through as well. High cheekbones could also be a thing with this group. Yeah, they have a nice bone structure. And with the Two of Pentacles here, again, I feel like that's that balance between the feminine and the masculine. Also with the pendant here, they may, even as a man, like they may wear a little bit of jewelry, even if it's just a simple necklace. I definitely feel like they do pay attention to accessories though. So maybe they have a nice like belt collection or a watch collection or rings that they like to wear, that kind of thing. Trying to think if there's anything else coming through. I will also say with the color story here, it could be that your future spouse only wears a certain season of colors. So you know how like there's like summer colors? Oh my gosh, this reminds me of Michael Cera where he said like, oh my gosh, what is that from? Is it from a movie or an interview? Or maybe it was a skit. I can't remember, but he has this like thing where he's like, and I can only wear summer colors. But anyway, okay, I'm sorry. So you know how there's like summer colors, you know, spring colors are like pastels, winter colors are like deep saturated colors, autumns you think of like browns and oranges and reds, that kind of thing. It may be that your future spouse is like a deep winter and so they only wear like dark saturated colors, or they know that jewel tones look good on them, or you know, like whatever, or maybe they only wear black, or you know, they only wear neutrals. Something like that, where they have a set like color palette that they like to stick to, kind of thing. Okay, let's get into your oracle cards. I feel like this is going to be a longer reading than I planned. Oh, we will use your astro dice, I promise. I won't forget the astro dice. Okay. Pile 1, your future spouse's physical appearance. Do you all prefer shorter or longer readings? I'm kind of curious. Okay, with the tree card, if this is a man, they may be physically well endowed. Let's say that. I also feel like this person just seems very physically strong. And again, it's not unlike, I'm sorry if you're into a lot of muscles, because it's not like that. You know, it's again, like they're very toned, you know, they could definitely have like a 6-pack, but they don't have those like bulging muscles, you know what I mean? Like they have that like swimmer or runner's body kind of thing. Okay, and then with the moon, I definitely feel like this person can go through sort of transitions in their style too. I feel like we saw that a little bit with the Knight of Swords to the King of Swords. Again, I'm thinking of like Russell Brand, like early on in his career, he kind of did that like rock and roll kind of look, you know, it was all black, studs and like chest hair and layers of necklaces and stuff. And, you know, he kind of looked like, he actually looked a little bit like Jack Sparrow in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. But now, if you look at him, he looks more like bohemian, granola, spiritual leader. Like he could run a cult or something. He looks a little bit like Jesus. Not that Jesus ran a cult, I'm not saying that, but it's his hair that reminds me of Jesus, I should clarify that. So he went through like a style transformation as he got older. So you could notice that when you meet your future spouse, if you see old pictures of them, you're like, oh, like your style has definitely evolved over time. I also feel like with the moon, you know how like parts of the moon are hidden to us, but it's always fully there. I feel like that's part of the dynamic here, is that you're slowly gonna get your future spouse to open up over time, like onions have layers and Shrek, you know, like he's not gonna give you everything about his personal history and everything about his, you know, emotional feelings for you all at one time. And I feel like that's what keeps you interested, that's what keeps you intrigued, like this person has some mystery to them and like you want to solve it, you know, you want to get to the bottom of it. With the bees here, I do feel like it could be a little bit of love at first sight, or at least infatuation at first sight, because it's like you're being stung by a bee, like it's an immediate connection. And it does feel like mutual with the Two of Pentacles. It does feel like both of you are, you know, feeling that vibe. I also feel like with honey too, it's like you're getting like kind of like stuck on them, you know what I mean? Like And that sweet side to them just comes out with you. You know, they don't let everybody see that side to them. And, you know, the bees work for the hive, right? So, like they're gonna, like if you're a female watching this, like serving the queen kind of energy is coming through. I also feel like, kind of like a buzzing bee in your ear. Like you can't stop thinking about them. You know, like they're on your mind. Yeah, there's something there. I really feel like it's like Cupid's arrow strikes. Like that's how it feels. It feels like they're in your head and you can't let them go. Like, you know, when you hear a new song and it just gets stuck in your head and you're like, I didn't even like this song in the beginning. You know, Easy A, the movie where she gets the pocket full of sunshine birthday card and she opens it up. She's like, this is a dumb song. But then she keeps opening up, and by the end of the weekend, she's like singing a full concert in her shower to this song. Like, that's how it feels. Like, you may be like, whatever, this person thinks they're too cool, I don't care. And then you can't stop thinking about them. Okay. Pile 1, your future spouse's physical appearance. What do we need to know? We have the Pioneer. Yeah, this person has a little bit of a rebel energy to them. It says passion for doing and creating what has not been done before. Yeah, I feel like with their style, they're kind of like a trendsetter. You know, like other people copy them. Yeah, I feel like they definitely have a unique vibe to them. We have the Prince. Romantic charm and potential for power. I think they don't become a king until they marry you, right? Again, it's just, I do think for most of you this is a man, but if it's a woman, they just have a more masculine energy, which is fine. But it says romantic charm and potential for power. So yeah, I do feel like, you see how he's holding the flowers behind his back? This card always makes me think of The Bachelor and how they like hand out a red rose to whoever they select. I've never watched The Bachelor, but I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. And so it's like he's holding this rose behind his back and he has like all these options in love, but he's holding out for you, you know? And it's also kind of like this person does, to an extent, where they're hard on their sleeve, but you're never going to see it because they're hiding their sleeve behind their back. Like this person has so much more emotional depth than they're letting on. And also with the Prince, like you think of someone who is like clean, right? Like someone with good hygiene, right? Like you think of someone who smells good, someone who comes from wealth and luxury. So this person could definitely be in like a higher socioeconomic status. They could come from money, they could come from old money, because with a Prince you think of titles, right? And yeah, even just the way the Prince is dressed, like it's pretty flamboyant, right? So, and not to say like your future spouse's style is going to be really out there, but it definitely attracts attention, and you know, they're known as like a style icon kind of thing. Like, not to be dramatic, but I mean, people definitely see them and kind of emulate them. And then we have hero or heroine, passion for a journey of personal empowerment. This person's always trying to grow. So that's in multiple areas of their life, not just their physical appearance, but I definitely feel like if we're talking about their physical appearance, this is someone who wants to stick to their workout routine. You know, if they get off their workout routine, they're upset kind of thing. You know, they definitely take pride in their appearance. They're not going to leave the house looking any kind of way. This is not someone who goes 3 days without showering, you know. This is someone, like if they have facial hair, which they definitely could have facial hair, you know, they keep it very like tidy and trimmed and like styled in a certain way. And I definitely feel like they have main character energy with the hero card. Like again, like even they're not saying a lot, they're not the loudest person in the room, but they have a magnetism to them. Like they don't have to say much at all, and still they're the center of attention. You know, they're not asking for this, it's just the energy that is being put out. Yeah, and I definitely feel like this person always strives to be better. And with the mountain peak again, like in terms of their physical body, when they're undressed. I think you're gonna like things. Let's see. And I also feel like you're gonna be really attracted to this person's mind. Again, just, they're very smart. They're very smart. And I think that they're also quite creative and artistic as well. I wouldn't be surprised if this person plays an instrument, or if they're really into music, or if they seem like someone who has like a full life. You know what I mean? Like, before you come into their life, they're not just sitting around wondering where you are. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's what makes other people chase them so much, is that they're so busy. Like, they have their passion projects, they have their career, they have a close relationship, maybe with their family, if not with their friends. You know, I definitely feel like this person has at least a couple good friends. Yeah, I feel like they're always doing something. Like, they're going to the gym, or, you know, they're playing music, or they have a lot of hobbies, or they're, you know, like they're going on a trip. You know, they're going on a lot of solo trips, that kind of thing. Okay, let's roll your Astro dice. If you're wearing earbuds, you may want to lower the volume for this. So pile 1's future spouse's physical appearance. Okay, so surprise, surprise, surprise. We've got the first house here. This person is very assertive, okay? Like, this is not someone who... This isn't a wallflower. You know what I mean? Like, if they're quiet, it's because they want to be quiet, right? Like, if they're reserved, they're reserved. It's not because they're shy. This person, again, like, they're just very sure of themselves, and they know that true confidence doesn't have to be loud, right? So they just have their own vibe. And then with the Libra energy, they definitely just like to balance out, again, that femininity and that masculinity. And I think that's part of what draws you into them, especially like, because we're drawn to things that are different than us, but then we're also drawn to similarities, right? And so I think that's the beautiful balance, and why you're so intrigued by them, because in some ways they are like you, and in other ways they're so different. So this could look like, if we're talking specifically about their physical appearance, you know, maybe you guys both like to dress in dark colors, or maybe you both have dark features, but maybe you guys both have dark hair, but they have like blue eyes and you have dark brown eyes. You know, something like that. Like, you see parts of yourself mirrored in them, but then in other ways there's like a stark contrast kind of thing. Let's find out another zodiac sign. Let's get like 2 more for like rising signs, because your ascendant can clue into your physical appearance. Okay, we have Taurus. Yeah, the wealth, right? The luxury. They look like they come from money, or they have a lot of money. You know, so when they're wearing things, they could be designer pieces or things that just look very luxe. So like, this person definitely understands like the importance of like tailored clothes, or clothes that have, you know, again, like good fabrics. They're not wearing cheap, fast fashion kind of stuff. Or, you know, like, even if they're wearing something thrifted, it looks good, you know, like it looks nice. But you can get a lot of nice stuff at thrift stores. Okay. And then we have Aries. Yeah, there is an intense masculine energy to this person. You know, like emperor kind of energy to this person, like very assertive, very sure of themselves. You may think they're a little bit cocky, you know, when you meet them. I could definitely see that being a thing. Yeah, like they know that they're attractive, they know that they're desirable, and so they're kind of like, I don't really have to say much, I don't really have to work too hard. And you may make them work a little bit hard, and that may be why they're so drawn to you, pile 1. Okay, let's just find out some information about your relationship in general. If we get more physical appearance messages, then that is cool too, but I'm gonna leave this a little bit more open-ended. I ran out of my favorite coffee this morning, and it's totally my fault for not ordering it earlier in the week. And I've tried so many flavored coffees, and I just need to accept that I don't like them. And so now I have this whole bag of flavored coffee that I'm gonna have to force myself to drink so I won't be wasteful. And I'm like, man. Community coffee, the house blend, is my absolute favorite coffee to make at home. If you haven't tried it, it's delicious. It's a medium dark roast. I'm curious, if you guys are coffee drinkers, I drink mine black, so like the flavor of the coffee matters a lot to me. What is your favorite? If I'm making iced coffee, I do just like Dunkin' Donuts. Like, they have really good iced coffee. Because not every coffee works well both hot and cold. Like, community coffee, only like it hot. But it is my favorite. If you guys have any like coffee brand recommendations that you can like buy at the grocery store, or just, yeah, tell me what your favorite coffee is, or what's your order if you go to like Starbucks or something. I'm curious. Let's get to know each other better. File 1. This person kind of has the energy of black coffee, to be honest. Like, that feels like their vibe. Alright, pile 1, your future spouse. If I was more like technologically savvy, I don't know if you guys have seen like the Instagram reels going around where they're like flashing pictures and they're like, this is you at, like, this is the season that you are, this is the time of day that you are, this is the drink that you are, this is the animal that you are, and it's got music and it just flashes really fast. I think it would be so cool to do a future spouse video like that, but I have no idea how to do that. Like, no idea. Okay, pile 1, your future spouse. I do have a silent reading coming up where I have like an aesthetic board and I have pictures that kind of match the vibe of, I don't know if it's a future spouse reading or a soulmate reading, I can't remember, but be on the lookout for that. It's either gonna post in November or December because I do film ahead. All right, pile 1, your future spouse. Oh, I love this. I love this so much. Okay, 100%. So we have home, family, comfort, moving house. So you could definitely be long distance from this person. They could be traveling when they meet you. They could travel for work a lot. You guys can meet when you're both on vacation. This could also signify that you're gonna have a family with this person. If you're wanting children, this is confirmation for you. Also, this person's gonna feel like home. So there could be something that reminds you of them. I'm sorry, something about them that reminds you of home. And so that could be something about their scent, or maybe you guys are both from the same hometown and then you meet up later in life and you're like, oh, I'm from there too, you know? So something like that. Or it could be something about their style that reminds you of home. Like, I don't know, maybe if you're from Seattle and they wear a lot of flannel, you know, something like that. With the healing card here, it says difficult self-truths, acknowledgement, and inner work. I do feel like this is kind of like what is interesting here. And you all may not like this message, but here it is. There's something about this person that draws you in that maybe reminds you of either like a celebrity crush or someone who broke your heart, someone that you could never be with again. And that may scare you in the beginning and you may want to stay away from them because it triggers you a little bit, but this person is not that. And it's because maybe your future spouse acted like this in the past, but Spirit didn't have you two meet until this person had emotionally matured. You know, like the hand is tossing away the pacifier, and then we have the lessons here and the healing. Like, your future spouse in the past may not have been hitting on 2 cents. They may have been flaky, flighty, commitment avoidant, you know, just unreliable, undependable, telling half-truths kind of thing, where they're not technically lying, but, you know, they definitely misled you kind of energy. They're done with that. You know, when they meet you, they're ready to settle down. And so you may be turned off from that. You may be scared of the fact that this person has a little bit of a past, but they have matured, you know, and people can evolve and people can change. And Spirit wouldn't have brought you two together, and you wouldn't marry them, right? If they hadn't matured. And so I definitely feel like that is part of what physically draws you in, is that, again, like, they have this heartbreaker vibe or this bad boy kind of vibe, and they've matured past that, but it's almost like the physical shell still resembles that, okay? Like, they still look like someone who could break your heart, even though now they've matured and their intentions are pure. You see what I mean? Okay. Let's go ahead and look. What do I want to do next? Let's do your little grab bag here. So there are physical appearance traits in this bag. There are also careers and love languages and personality traits. So pile 1, who is your future spouse? Pile 1, who is your future spouse? I hope you guys like these. I want to do more like open-ended readings. I think I'm just going to do like a who will you marry reading. Like, I kind of just want Spirit to direct a reading and just see where it goes. Because I feel like I've been doing more like future spouse, hobbies, and interests. Like, that's very specific. I kind of want to open it up more. Of course, I'm talking about December's readings because November's already filmed. All right, pile 1. Who is your future spouse? Pile 1. Okay. Put that to the side and get all these papers together. So their love language is quality time. Love it. That's one of my favorites personally. Great brows. I said that. They're going to have really well-defined brows. Well-dressed and stylish. Come on. We said that a million times. Thank you, Spirit, for the confirmation. I love it. Successful in their career. I told you they had money. I told you they had money. I told you. They could be a legacy too. Like, they could have taken over like the family business kind of thing. They adore you. Aw, love it. And they're very spontaneous. Yeah, with that 3 of Wands, like, again, they're a little bit adventurous, a little bit flighty, 100%. Okay, let's get some spark romance matchsticks. So what will you do with your future spouse when you're dating, you're married? Oh, I forgot to tell you, this might be a little bit loud, I'm sorry. Pile 1's future spouse. I feel like 3 is always a good number. Okay. Surprise your partner with his or her favorite treats. So they may surprise you with your favorite snack. You know, they may bring dinner home, surprise you at work with lunch. I worked with a woman where her boyfriend would always send her like Uber Eats orders, and everyone was so jealous. So that could be you in the future. You know, we were talking about coffee. If you like coffee, maybe they'll surprise you with a coffee order. Put your favorite music on and have an impromptu dance party. I told you, music is very important to this person. And then we have get a little gift for your partner just because. So gift giving could also be a love language for this person. Not surprising too, like if they have the money, it's probably no big deal to them. Okay, let's see. This is a message from your future spouse's higher self, what they want you to know right now. Soulmate. Your soulmate is already with you in spirit. Believe this and they will manifest physically. So that's why I thought it was like an immediate, like, you know, Cupid's arrow strikes kind of thing, because it's a soulmate connection. Like, energetically, you're gonna feel that 100%. And it even kind of looks like golden, like honey, right? The bee sting. Okay. All right, so we're gonna end your reading with your spirit cat message. This is just a message from Spirit. It says courage. Meet Alice. She is small but brave, jumping head first down the rabbit hole. Although the unknown may seem scary and fraught with danger, we should always hold faith in the beautiful possibilities and discoveries awaiting us. True courage is listening to our intuition and moving in the direction of our heart's deepest yearning even when we are afraid and want to turn back to our comfortable, familiar world. Trust yourself enough to take that leap. And always remember, no matter where you land, the ride will be strange, magnificent, and oh so worth it. This makes me think of the Fool card. Like, you're gonna fall head over heels with this person, and it's gonna require a leap of faith, right? It will be strange, magnificent, and oh so worth it. So have courage, be brave in love. All right, so pile 1, this was your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope you enjoyed it. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, hitting the notification bell so you always know when I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to watch the ads. I would like to say a huge thank you to everyone who's been supporting the channel thus far. Your support means the world to me, and it really, really does make a difference. So thank you. And yeah, I hope you all have a great rest of your day or rest of your night, and I will see you all in my next one, hopefully. And yeah, take care, pile 1. Hi pile 2, welcome to your reading. So we're going to save your oracle cards for the end, and let's go ahead and get into your tarot. So I chose the Green Witch Tarot for your group, and as I was tuning into the energy of this deck, I definitely feel like regardless of whether you're interested in a man or a woman, this person's style, they look like they are always on the go. And sort of like an earthy, outdoorsy kind of look. Like, if this is a woman, maybe they always have their hair in a ponytail. Or if this is a man, they're always dressed like they could go on a hike or go camping like right now. They have kind of like a rugged appearance to them. They look like they can build a campfire. You know what I'm saying? They have that kind of vibe. And like the color story in this deck is quite dark. I think if this is a woman, they might have like a witchy kind of aesthetic, but in like a dark academia kind of way. Not like cottagecore. If that makes sense. So like a dark witchy kind of aesthetic. Like into like crystal jewelry and that kind of thing. And they would, be burning incense, and they would dab essential oils and make their own perfumes and that kind of thing. If this is a man, I definitely feel like they have this kind of like down to earth. They look comfortable like all the time. Like they look so comfortable. They could wear like a lot. They could wear clothes, like the athletic leisure, like sweatpants, and like a North Face jacket is coming to mind. I don't know why. I also feel like this person still has their natural hair color. I don't feel like they have dyed hair. Because I definitely feel like there's something about this person that's very, again, like natural and earthy. Like they, if this is a woman, they wear like light makeup or natural makeup, like Glossier or like Rare Beauty. Like it's very light. They're not wearing like a lot of makeup with like glitter. They're not wearing Fenty Beauty, that kind of thing. Not that there's anything wrong with Fenty. But it's just a different vibe, right? Yeah, and if this is a man, I feel like they are quite strong. Yeah, I definitely feel like this person works out. They definitely are into like health and fitness and eating well, and they could be into like, you know, fresh fruits and vegetables, organic foods. You know, they may have their own garden, or they like to cook at home versus eating out because they know that's healthier. Or they could be like a vegetarian or a vegan. I could also see that being a thing. I definitely feel like there's a love of animals here too. Like when you see this person, like if we're talking about their physical appearance, and listen, no judgment, because this is me too, but you may notice like, oh, I see like dog fur like on their jacket. And so they'll be like, oh man, I didn't realize, you know, I was petting the dog before I left the house and I wasn't thinking. And so they may be like trying to brush off like dog fur. I'm like that with Gracie. Like I won't even be thinking about it. You know, I'll have lint rolled, you know, myself. And then of course, before I leave, I'm petting her and it just defeats the purpose. And then I get in the car and I'm like, man, and I kind of like brush it off again. Something like that, you know, like you could catch this person like lint rolling their clothes a lot because of their pet. You know, it just happens. You can't really help it. Your bottom of the deck is this Knight of Wands, so I'll put that to the side. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of messages right away. I'm sorry. I know I haven't even read out your tarot. So you have the Knight of Wands, you have the High Priest, you have the Two of Cups, the Six of Swords, the Knight of Cups, and the Four of Wands. I definitely feel like this person just feels very sturdy. Like there's something about their physical appearance where almost like a tree. Like they just feel very stable. I don't know, that's a weird message. Kind of like this person is nice to hug. Do you know what I mean? Like there's something about that. Like your bodies match up like really well with the Two of Cups. Like reminds me of the Postal Service song. The freckles in our eyes are mirror images, and when I kiss you, they're perfectly aligned. I think those are the lyrics. I haven't listened to that song in a long time. And then there's another like our bodies fitting together like puzzle pieces or something. I feel like that's a good analogy for like your body types. So it's going to depend on you watching this reading, but like if you're really tall, maybe they're more petite. You know what I mean? Like when you spoon each other, like someone is definitely the little spoon and someone is the big spoon. Okay? Like you guys fit together really well. Yeah, and I also see like, you know, brown, blonde, red, black, blonde, brown. Like you two don't have the same hair color. Like this person has an opposite hair color to you. So they have something, that their hair is different than yours. And it could also be different in texture. Like if you have straight hair, maybe their hair is more wavy. Or if you're like me and you have like straight, fine, oilier hair, maybe they have dry, curly, textured hair. You know what I mean? Like it's just opposite in some manner. It's opposite. This would be like also maybe they're blonde hair and blue-eyed, and you have dark brown eyes and dark brown hair. And so as a couple, you're very striking, right? You're like, ooh, you know, like you guys just look good together because it's, you know, it's like opposites. You know, because some couples, you see them together and I'm like, oh, they look like brother and sister. That's kind of weird. You know, like you guys, you don't have to worry about that. You know, there's enough contrast here where you look very striking as a couple. You don't look like you're related, which is good. I definitely feel like there's an easiness to this person. Again, there's an easiness to their style. They're not very fussy, very different than pile one. I mean, this person is like in and out the door. This person has a very like go, go, go kind of energy. Like I feel like it's kind of funny. It's like this person would totally be the type to like meditate and be into like spiritual stuff, or you know, they take time to cook their own meals and that kind of thing. But really, this person comes across as a bit type A. It's like, yes, they're doing all of this self-care stuff and they're really responsible and like taking care of their body in like a holistic way, and you know, attending to their spiritual or their emotional needs or their mental health needs, but they're rushing through it. Like they're like rushing through it like a to-do list. And I personally relate to this energy a lot of like just rushing from like one thing to the next. And it's like, this is supposed to be relaxing, but I'm like sitting there thinking about everything else I'm supposed to do. And so like, yeah, on paper it looks good, but in reality, I'm like running around like a chicken with their head cut off. And I feel like that kind of contributes to your future spouse's style because they're like rushing around. And so that's why sometimes they may have dog fur on their pants or something because they were just rushing out the door and they forgot to do like the lint rolling, you know, happens to the best of us. But I definitely feel like you may have to get on to your future spouse, like slow down a little bit, like it's fine. You know, like they come off as like all chill, maybe even like a little bohemian, and then in reality, they're like uptight, type A, trying to get as much done in a single 24-hour period as possible, you know, that kind of energy. With the trophy here, I definitely feel like also, like, we're gonna get more messages like beyond just the physical appearance. Like, I'm being pretty chill with it today, just letting the messages flow. I hope that's okay with you all. But with the way he's presenting this, it looks like a trophy. And so it may be sort of like, and just see the way here he's pouring this water for her. If you're interested in a man, I feel like they're gonna be kind of like a gentleman. You know, like they're gonna be very traditional, like, let me open this door for you, let me pour your drink for you, that kind of thing. You know, let me pay for the meal, let me plan the date, let me pick you up at your house and I'm gonna walk you to the door. Like very polite, very well mannered. And let's see if there's any other messages coming out. I think that's it for right now. I definitely feel like this person wears a lot of earth tones too. Let's go ahead and get your dice. This may be loud, so if you're wearing earbuds, maybe lower the volume. Pile 2's future spouse's appearance. Their physical appearance, please, Spirit. Okay, we've got Virgo. Like I said, a very earthy energy. And so it's earthy energy, but Virgo is the perfectionist. Virgo is the one that's uptight. Virgo is the one that is trying to be the best and be the most put together and the most organized, but it makes them a little bit type A. And so, yeah, your person is definitely about self-improvement. And so they may have some goals, you know, when you meet them, like, I'm trying to grow out my hair, or I'm, you know, trying to get my teeth whitened, or, you know, I'm trying to lose this many pounds or gain this many pounds, you know, I'm trying to change up my, like, workout routine in this way. Or, you know, like this person may just always have some goals, even in relation to their physical appearance that they're trying to, you know, achieve. And then we have the 6th house here. So this talks about discipline in your day-to-day routines and your work life. And so again, like this is Virgo energy twice. So this person, I feel like this person is very physically attractive, but they don't see it. They don't see it. They will always view themselves as a work in progress, and you really can't tell them differently. And that may frustrate you as their partner. Like you want them to feel very attractive and like you're like, shut up, you're handsome, you're beautiful, like shut up. You know, like it may annoy you, especially if you feel like this person is super attractive and they're like complaining about something about themselves, like their nose is too big, and you're like, shut up, like your nose is perfect, like shut up, like I don't even want to hear that. You know, like that kind of, you guys may have like conversations like that. Okay, let's get some more. I actually just want to, well, we can get another house, why not? Pile 2's physical appearance, their future spouse, please, Spirit. Oh wow, pile 1 got this exact same combination, Libra in the 1st house. So this it's coming out in a different way though. I do feel like this person does tend towards masculinity a little bit more than their femininity, regardless of their gender. I also feel like this person, kind of in a sense of like, I know who I am, and like they know who they are, and they kind of they kind of look at themselves as like, they kind of critically assess themselves, like over and over and over and over again. And I think especially in terms of their physical appearance, they can be a little bit harsh towards themselves. And again, I think it's because of that perfectionism, and because they are like a little bit controlling in terms of, you know, that type A energy of like wanting everything to be perfect. You know, sometimes they can be a little bit critical of themselves, but I do think they hide it well. Like, I feel like that self-criticism may not come to light until you guys are fully a couple, because this person seems so busy, like they're running around. They don't look like they're putting a lot of effort into their physical appearance, but then when you get to know them, you realize like they have like all of these like physical fitness goals, or, you know, they have, you know, again, like certain things they want to change about themselves. And yeah, it's kind of like you wouldn't expect that from them. You wouldn't expect them to have that insecurity. This could be someone, honestly, who, and I'll give a trigger like mental health warning for like what I'm about to talk about. I feel like you guys maybe sense where I'm going with this. If you need to pause or like skip ahead in the video, you can just skip ahead. They may be someone who's like thin, but because of like diet culture and things like that, maybe when they step on the scale, what the number they see, like they're never happy with it. You know, maybe there's a little bit of body dysmorphia going on. I'm not saying like full on they have, I'm not saying that they have like an eating disorder, but I do feel like they can be overly critical. And when they get like that, you may notice like they don't eat as much that day. Or maybe they're working out too much, you know, or maybe they're too fixated on a certain, they may have certain rules like, you know, I won't wear this or that because I can't show that part of my body. Something like that. You know, they may just be a little bit hard on themselves. And again, it's going to vary widely. That's just an example. We all have our insecurities, you know, so definitely like be kind and gentle, and try not to invalidate your future spouse's feelings. You know, like hear them out, provide them encouragement. If they need to see a therapist, if it is that intense, I don't think it is. I think it's just something that comes up sometimes because they are a perfectionist. I don't think you see that right away, but as you get to know them, you're like, oh, I see the perfectionism here. Okay, let's get another message. Wow, Libra again. This person is so attractive. They are so attractive. This is Venus energy. They are so attractive, but I don't think they see it. I don't think they see it. With the third house here, I feel like they do a lot of self-comparison to other people, and they just don't see it. They don't see how attractive they are. It's kind of like, you know, like really attractive people, sometimes no one tells them that they're pretty or handsome or beautiful or whatever, because people just assume they know. Maybe it's that. I don't know. Or maybe they just think people are being polite when they give them compliments. I don't know. Maybe they had a parent who put them down a lot, or a sibling who put them down a lot. I'm not sure what the case is. It could just be society at large, you know, we're all influenced by the media and these impossible standards, but they just don't see how attractive they are, and they are so attractive. So attractive. As a side note, this person is very intuitive. Very intuitive. If they don't have a spiritual practice, I feel like you may open them up to tarot and things like that, and then they may awaken to even some psychic abilities. But I do think they are very intuitive because I think they're really connected to the earth and all of the elements that go with that, you know, fire and water and the air. Okay, archetypes that best represent pile 2s. Future spouse's physical appearance, please, Spirit. We've got the divine child, innocence, purity, and redemption, suggests a special connection with the divine. I was just saying that, like, I feel like they are very intuitive, like they do have some psychic abilities. They may just not have awakened to that yet. I also think with the divine child, they could look younger than they are. They could look, you know, forever young. And it could be something in their voice that sounds young. Like, I know when I would answer the phone, sometimes people would say, like, you know, if it's like a telemarketer or something, they're like, is your mom home? No. I'm an adult. I promise. So they could have like a young sounding voice, or something about their facial expression or their laugh, you know, sounds young. They could definitely just look younger than they are. We have God, benevolence and compassion, recognizing the eternal force within yourself and others. It's funny, we got the high priest and now we have the hermit, because all of these are spiritual cards. Like, every single one of them is a spiritual card, right? Every single one of these. Yeah, this person definitely has some psychic abilities in some form. I also feel like with the hermit, it says, seek solitude to focus intently on inner life, serves personal creativity. I feel like this person just likes to be in their own energy a lot. And so, you know, in terms of, I'm stretching this a bit, but in terms of their physical appearance, if we think about how they carry themselves, they're so attractive, and yet they're like a shrinking violet. You know, like they want to pull back. They want to be on the corners of the party. They don't want to be the center of attention. They don't want all eyes on them. They are very careful about who they associate with. This squirrel, again, is like right in front of me. I'm sorry, I don't know if I mentioned that earlier or if it was just a thought in my head, but this squirrel was like running down the street, and I was like, this kind of feels like your future spouse's energy is like very frantic. But squirrels are so cute, right? Like, your future spouse is so cute, so adorable, so handsome, beautiful, pretty, attractive, like whatever term you want to use, they tick those boxes. Like, they're so attractive. But they want to like shrink away from the world. I feel like they're kind of sensitive to things, and I feel like being outdoors in nature is very restorative to them. They could be very empathic, and so they pick up on all this energy from other people, and so they have to like pull back. They have to pull back. And especially because they're so, even if they haven't awakened to their spiritual side, they're still operating, you know, closer to their higher self than the average person. And, you know, they're a child of the divine. They could have had a rough childhood, and so they were like raised by spirit, essentially. They were a child of the universe. And that's why I think it's hard for them to be like fully present in a room full of people. So for them, being grounded means like being out in nature, being in their own energy. And so this person definitely seems more of an introvert. This person may dress, again, in a way that doesn't call a lot of attention to them. So that's why they wear very casual clothes or earth tones, neutrals. They may wear a lot of black. Yeah. And even if I think of like, when I think of God, that word itself reminds me of being at church when I was little with my great-grandmother, and she went to a Baptist church. And for those of you who have never been to a Baptist church, it's very plain, very plain. Like, there's no fancy stained glass windows, or at least not at our church. Very plain pews, plain Bibles, not a lot going on, okay? When I got older and I went to a Catholic church with a friend, oh my gosh, like the difference. Like, the Catholic church was so ornate. Like, there was so much to look at. I couldn't pay attention to what they were saying. Like, I was just looking around at the building everywhere. I was like, oh my gosh, like, it was just so different. And your future spouse's physical appearance, I know, stay with me here. Your future spouse's physical appearance reminds me of that Baptist church. Like, there's still a lot of meaning there, but it's just simple. It's plain, it's minimalist. And so that's like your future spouse's aesthetic. Like it's a bit minimalist. It's a bit bare bones. It's a bit natural. It's organic, you know? Yeah, I think that's in terms of the style of their home, how they dress, their vibe. Like it's just pure and innocent, because there's nothing about it that's shiny and sparkly and distracting and trying to put up a false facade. It's not trying to be something that it's not trying to put on a mask. Here I am, honest to God, this is who I am. Yeah, so I definitely feel like your future spouse is more of an introvert, but they are so attractive, you know? All right, so pile 2. Your future spouse's physical appearance. We got the snail. This snail, again, it's misleading a little bit. Like, your future spouse is go, 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 busy, 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 but then they retreat into this shell. And so they look like they're calm and laid back because they're quiet on the outskirts of the party, but really, like, they have all of this frantic energy inside of them. This person may have a bit of anxiety in like social situations. They always seem more calm than they are. Yeah, like they see themselves as a frog and they're the prince or the princess. Like they don't see their own attractiveness. They don't see it. I did say they might have a witchy aesthetic. I did say that. With cauldron here too, like I definitely feel like this person eats really well. Like they definitely cook good food. Like this is someone who loves to cook, loves to eat, but you know, it's healthy food. Bottom of the deck we have the doll. Like this person is like, it's like they're ignorant to their own beauty, you know, like they're so pretty. They're so handsome, they're so attractive, but they're ignorant to their own beauty. They don't know it. Kind of like, you know, you've been looking in the mirror at the same facial features all your life. And yeah, you get older and you change a bit, but essentially, your face is your face, right? And it's like this person has become immune to their own beauty. Like they're just so used to looking at themselves that they just don't see it. Okay. We're gonna get more into like general messages now. If we get more messages about their physical appearance, that's cool, but I'm gonna open it up a little bit. Just if we can kind of just let your future spouse's higher self or spirit just say whatever messages they want to say about this connection. Like what do you need to know right now? I feel like the neighbors across the street must be like, what is she doing? Like, because I face the window and I see them like leaving their house and they're always like, what's she doing over there? Like, because I look like I'm staring at them, but I'm not. Okay, anxiety. Oh my gosh. Yeah, they're an anxious person. They're like tightly wound, like the coil of the shell of the snail, they're like tightly wound. And I feel like they seem so calm on the outside, but inside it's like a storm. Yeah, like they seem so peaceful. They seem so peaceful, but they really have to put effort into it. Like I think that's why this person has these boundaries, because they're aware of it. Like they're aware of which environments they can't be in. They're aware of which people trigger them. They're aware of when they need to pull back and spend a couple days alone. Like, you know, they're aware of that. Okay, you may meet this person in an unexpected way. Surprise, shock, out of the blue. So it could be like a serendipitous meeting where you're not expecting to meet them. I do have a How Will You Meet Your Future Spouse video. It has 6 groups, so that one took a while to film. Yeah, I feel like this is what is so funny, is that people are envious of this person and how attractive they are. And so that means that people sometimes project their insecurities onto your future spouse, and they will like put your future spouse down to make themselves feel better. All the while, your future spouse already has low self-esteem in regards to their physical appearance, so they don't need to be taking on this crap. You know, it's like it's like your future spouse is so attractive but everyone around them is saying the opposite. And if you keep listening to that, eventually you're gonna believe that it's true, right? So it's more of like your future spouse may have been surrounded by jerks when they were growing up, you know, people being mean in high school. You know, maybe they had a jealous sibling or a parent who was a bit narcissistic and cruel. It's gonna vary, right? But there's something that caused, and I think it came from childhood. There's something here that caused this insecurity, this social anxiety within them. I feel like this person's been through a lot of storms in their life. This person may also come into your life like the perfect storm, like, you know, they shake things up, you know, like, I mean, some of you, maybe you're with somebody else, maybe you're dating other people when you meet your future spouse, maybe they cause you to move, change your job because it's long distance, you know, there's something about them shaking up your world. And again, like, maybe you're not a spiritual person and you just stumbled along to this tarot reading and they introduce you to spirituality. I don't know. There's something, they're shaking up something in your life. They're coming in like a perfect storm, and yeah, when the storm clears, you're going to be with the right person in the right place and it's going to feel great. But in the meantime, they're shaking stuff up in your life. Okay. Yeah, I feel like people also may just be jealous. Like, once you're with this person, people are kind of like just jealous because, again, your future spouse is so attractive even though they don't see it. Okay. You also may calm their anxiety. You may be, just your presence may be very grounding for them. I tell you what, an introvert's dream is to meet somebody who makes them feel like they're alone. You know, that comfort of being alone with someone else. That's an introvert's dream. That's kind of like the energy you're bringing to them, pile 2. Okay, so these are going to be physical traits, personality traits, careers, love languages. Pile 2, who is your future spouse? Pile 2, who is your future spouse? Okay. And then let's move over your oracle cards too. Okay, they are younger than you, or again, they just look younger than they actually are. Love language is words of affirmation. See, that's the thing about introverts. Speaking as one myself, like, even though I'm an introvert, I love to talk. Like, I'm a sociable introvert. I love to talk. I love to read. I love all things communication. I love to write. What I'm doing right now is talking. You know, in a relationship, like, I'm definitely one to just say how I feel, you know, affirming, validating my partner 100%. That's the thing with an introvert, you know, like, you're going to be the one they talk to the most. I could see this person being a bit poetic, a bit romantic. And then we have loves coffee. Oh, a person after my own heart. Yes. I brought up coffee in pile 1, so it's kind of funny to me. I told everyone in pile 1 to put down their coffee order, like, how do they drink their coffee? I drink mine black. And I was saying, like, do you have any, like, recommendations for, like, coffee you can get at the grocery store? My favorite hot coffee is Community Coffee, the house blend. The medium dark roast is my favorite. So I'm just curious. You guys can go ahead and tell me too, what's your coffee order if you like to drink coffee. We have kind here. They're very kind. Their love language could also be physical touch. I feel like this may be something that you awaken in them. If you're more comfortable in your physical body, you could awaken this in them. Or it may be that they were never comfortable with physical touch before, but with you they are. And then they could have hazel eyes. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the oracle messages. This is a message from your future spouse's higher self, what they want you to know right now. We have forgiveness. Stop focusing your energy on past events, for life is too precious to waste. You create your reality by what you think, dream, and imagine. So there may be something you need to forgive or let go of before you meet this person. I'm actually going to get your spark romance matchsticks first. This may be loud, so you may want to turn down the volume again. Pile 2, pile 2. Pile 2's future spouse, please, Spirit. Pile 2's future spouse, please, Spirit. We have turn off your phones and the TV for an evening and just talk instead. I told you, like, this person's gonna want to talk to you. And that hermit, like, pulling back from, like, social media and, you know, television and all of this outside energy and getting quiet, that is 100% this person. We have praise your partner in front of others. Words of affirmation, like, they're gonna be so complimentary towards you, and that could be inspiring jealousy from other people too, that they give you so many compliments. And then we have act like tourists in your own city or town. I feel like this would be you getting them out of their shell a bit, which would be great. Okay, so let's end your reading now with your Spirit Cat Oracle message. It says unique. Meet Helix. He was always a little different from the other kitties. At first he felt lonely and alienated. He even considered trying to blend in to be accepted by the other cats, but this could never give him the joy that being embraced as his true self would. So he took a risk and met people's gazes as himself. He saw that his uniqueness was his beauty, his spark. He alone could twinkle the way only he can. Miraculously, many kitties around him threw off their normal disguises and began to sparkle in their own way too. Their world became dazzlingly diverse. So embrace the freak within and remember, outsiders are in. This feels like your future spouse's story, doesn't it? Like we were saying how they weren't trying to be deceptive and like have all this extra stuff going on with their style. It's just like, here I am, this is me. Yeah, and that feeling of loneliness and isolation, not seeing their own beauty, like it definitely sounds like your future spouse, doesn't it? And the hermit is definitely an outsider energy, so. Okay, even just the green here, like it looks very earthy, doesn't it? The greens and the browns. But then the purple, bringing in like the spiritual, like third eye. Love it. Okay. Pile 2, this was your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope you enjoyed it. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, hitting the notification bell so you always know when I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to watch the ads. I would like to say a huge thank you to everyone who's been supporting the channel thus far, and I will see you all in my next one. Take care, Pile 2, and again, a huge thank you to the subscriber who suggested this topic. All right. Hi Pile 3, welcome to your reading. So we're actually going to save your oracle messages for the end. And we're going to start with your tarot, and we'll also be using the astro dice. I was drawn to the Tarot del Fuego deck for you, so very spicy already. We'll see. Is your future spouse a fire sign? Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, or if they have that vibe to them, maybe sparks will be flying when you first meet them. Pile 3, your future spouse's physical appearance. Pile 3, and a big thank you to my guides and your guides for coordinating these messages. Like I was telling the other 2 groups, we'll definitely get more messages beyond just the physical appearance. I'm just letting it flow today, you know? Not trying to put too many limitations on spirit. Or your future spouse's higher self, for that matter. 5 of Wands, we're already starting out with a fiery bang here. Look at all the fire. Pile 3, future spouse's physical appearance. I definitely feel like with all the eyes on the back of this deck, your future spouse definitely, regardless of whether they want the attention, it's no competition. Like, all eyes tend to be on them for one reason or another. Yeah, I feel like sometimes they don't even want it. You know, like, sometimes I think they get bored with it. Yeah, they definitely try to stay in their own energy, but it's like, okay, it's kind of like this. And I'm gonna have to, this is a little bit, I don't want to get in trouble. We'll put that over her. It's kind of like, I've used this analogy before, but it's like the sun. You know, when the sun comes out, everyone's happy, sunbathing, basking in the light. But when it's a cloudy day, people are mad, like, where did the sun go? Where did the sun go? And, you know, the sun deserves a break. It's kind of like that. When your future spouse pulls back their energy, or maybe they say, you know, like, I don't feel like going out tonight. People are mad, you know, like, people just, it's like your future spouse is the life of the party, and they didn't even ask for that. You know, they didn't even ask for that. Okay. I definitely feel like Knight of Swords at the bottom here. I definitely feel like in some ways your future spouse feels kind of like a dark knight or like a black sheep kind of energy. You know, like they feel this difference or this separation from other people, like they're not like other people. And yet, everyone else can't get enough of them, you know? And it's maybe kind of a situation where this person didn't fit in with their family growing up, but then as they got older and they got out of their shell more and developed their confidence and their assertiveness and things like that, now people are very drawn to them, very attracted to them. So you may find that like people flirt with your future spouse a lot. You know, people try to pull them into conversations or get them to go out to this party, this event, whatever. Or, you know, their coworkers want them to hang out after work, and your future spouse just isn't really interested because your future spouse was like alone, I think, for a lot of their youth. They're not used to all of this social interaction. It's like they're not used to people being drawn to their light, even though their light was always there. So there's a warmth, definitely, to your future spouse's energy, but they've had a chaotic past. I'll just get that out of the way. Now, in terms of their physical appearance, because that's what we're here for, I do think there's something quite voluptuous about their body. If this is a woman, they definitely have curves. If this is a man, I feel like they are just physically large. Like they just are like very tall or like very broad-shouldered, or they have big hands, large arms, you know, like they just have a commanding presence to them. They definitely, yeah, and that's like they can't even hide away even if they wanted to, because their body just draws attention. Kind of like, okay, Drake. Drake would be a good example of this, because when he was first starting out, he was more slender. He didn't look like he really worked out. But then somewhere along the way, I don't know which album cycle it was, but like, it was like, oh wow, he's been at the gym. Like he looked like twice his size. Kind of like that body type. If we're talking about a man, like they just look physically bigger. If this is a woman, kind of like Nicki Minaj. Maybe because she's a Sagittarius, but someone who has curves, like you notice her, you know what I mean? And I feel like your future spouse is kind of funny, because like they may dress in a certain way that draws attention, and they'll be like, I don't know why everybody's looking at me. And you're like, well, look at what you're wearing. What do you mean, why is everybody looking at you? You know, like if this is a man, maybe they show like chest hair and they're like, I don't know why everybody's looking at me. Well, maybe button up your shirt. You know, like they act like they're so oblivious to it, but it's like, well, look at the cleavage that you're showing. Like, look at look at your legs. Like, come on. Maybe that's why they're looking at you. That kind of thing. Yeah, I feel like, you see how like the little squirrel, the little crown is like hiding behind all, like beneath all these wands. Like, there is no competition here because your future spouse would win, you know? But it's like they want to opt out of it, and it's like, well, you're kind of like, it's almost like their style or their presence is like loud in the room, you know, like they're dressing in a loud way, you know, their clothes are revealing, or they, again, like physically, like they work out a lot, so like their bodies are just physically bigger, you know, they have all these muscles and stuff, and so, you know, they're trying to act like they're this shrinking wallflower, and it's like, are you seriously not trying to draw this attention? Because look at how you're presenting yourself. Look at how you're carrying yourself. Like, this person has like a loud, like booming voice. You know what I mean? Like when they laugh really loudly. You know, like this person is kind of just very vibrant, very full of life. And then they're like, why is everybody looking at me? It's like, well, because you're laughing the loudest. Because, you know, it's like they don't see their own shine. You know, like it's a social butterfly that's trying to act like they don't have wings. You know, and it may like kind of, I don't know how you're gonna take it, to be honest. You know, you may feel like, you know, you see like, again, like how this, I guess this is an eel. You see how the eel is like wrapping around her? It's like your future spouse is trying to act like this isn't happening, you know, like they're not the center of attention, and they just are, you know, they just are. And I think, yeah, people are just drawn to them. I also feel like your future spouse can have a side to them where they may have a rising sign that, you know, in their birth chart, they may have an ascendant that is very different than their sun sign. And so I feel like your future spouse is harder to pin down or harder to label in a certain way. Like, their style may be a little bit all over the place. Their personality is kind of a little all over the place. Like, they, at first, may seem like stoic or reserved, and then you spend 10 minutes with them and you're like, oh, I misjudged this, you know? And then that fire, like, erupts. Like, this looks like a mouth opening up, does it not? Like, something will trigger them, like someone will start talking about something that they're interested in or that they're passionate about, or someone will say something that no one else finds funny, but your future spouse just erupts in laughter. And I do this myself sometimes. I was talking to someone who lives in Louisiana, and they were talking about the hurricane season, and they were like, oh, it's no big deal, you know, you just have to look out for hurricane season. And then they started naming like 10 months of the year, and I couldn't help it, like I just started laughing. And someone was like, oh, you think that's funny, like hurricanes, like people die? And I'm like, oh, no, like that's not why I'm laughing. I'm just laughing at the ridiculousness of hurricane season lasting like 10 months of the year and them acting like it's no big deal. Like, that is kind of funny, you know? And it's like inappropriate, right? So your future spouse may do that. They may laugh at something that's a little bit taboo or a little bit inappropriate. And when they explain it to other people, the laughter is catching, right? And so when I explained it, that person who was originally talking started laughing too. They're like, yeah, it is kind of ridiculous now that I think about it. So I feel like your future spouse has like a unique perspective that just gets people, it's like their energy is infectious. And yeah, I kind of feel like this energy from your future spouse, like I'm getting like all over the place with this reading, I'm so sorry. But they kind of have this energy where you're walking with them somewhere and someone will just randomly, like you're waiting in line for your food and someone will just randomly start talking to your future spouse and telling them their whole life story. Like it's kind of that dynamic where it's like wherever they go, they're not initiating it, but people are just drawn to them like moths to a flame. And I think it may get on your nerves a little bit, to be honest. Like, and your future spouse is like, I didn't do anything. And it's like, well, just stop. And your future spouse is like, I'm not trying to draw all of this attention. I'm not trying to. Yeah. And I feel like there's something too about this person's legs. I know that's so random, but the way these wands are, they look like legs to me. Like there's something about your future spouse's legs. They have features to them that are very attractive that are a bit odd or unusual, okay? Like there's something about them that turns you on that isn't like the typical thing that turns you on. So for example, maybe you are really into like nice hair, like someone having nice luscious locks really does it for you. But with your future spouse, for some reason, you're really drawn to their legs and you've never been into legs before. You've never noticed legs, you know? And all of a sudden you're like, they have nice legs. Look at their calves. They have nice calves, you know? And you're like, why am I turned on by their calves? You know, it's like something odd. Or even like their leg hair, like something about it is nice to you. Or like their teeth, you know? It's like, yeah, someone having a nice smile is attractive, but it's like more than that. It's like the shape of their teeth. I don't know. It's something odd. You're like, man, like you're really into their teeth. And you're like, what is this? You know? Also, I feel like there's something with the way this person slouches a lot, but you're kind of into it. I don't know what it is. It's the way that they sit. Like it may be that the way they just kind of lounge back, or the way that they like cross their legs, or something about their legs again, or the way that they spread their legs. I don't know. Something about the way that they sit and slouch is attractive to you. It reminds me of, if you guys saw the 90s show, or maybe it was in the 80s, I don't remember, My So-Called Life. It only ran for like one season. Jared Leto played Jordan Catalano on that show. And the protagonist, I don't remember her name, she had a huge crush on him. And she was like, it's the way he leans. He would lean against like the lockers in the school hallway, and she was like, it's the way he leans. And like anyone who knows that show is like, it's the way he leans. It's something in the way that they have like bad posture. Like, you know, like they're leaning against a wall or something, but it just turns you on. It's something odd about them that is just very attractive to you. And look at all the eyes again, all the eyes everywhere, like all eyes on them. I feel like this person has a very strong sexual energy too. With all the skulls, it's making me think of Scorpio energy. Again, like this person's been through a lot of pain and hurt and like just difficult times and difficult endings in their past. And I feel like that makes them, you know, kind of interesting and mysterious, and like there's just this magnetism to them. And I feel like too, like lost souls, like these ghosts, people who are like lost souls are really drawn to your future spouse. And I think that's why they kind of have to be a little protective over themselves sometimes, and they have to kind of hide their heart a little bit, because, you know, they attract a lot of kind of different energy, and, you know, it's not their job to save people, so they might have to pull back sometimes. all of these volcanoes, you're going to be so physically attracted to this person. I think physical intimacy to you, like the rushing water, like they're just going to turn you on so much. Definitely as well, this could be a marriage where one of you gets pregnant quickly, so be mindful of that if you don't want children, or if you're wanting to wait a while before you have kids, you know, take precautions with that. Yeah, I definitely feel like just this person putting their hand on you, like even if it's just putting their hand on your knee or something like that, drives you wild. Like it's kind of a bit animalistic, you know, like it's just like pure gut instinct. There are no words for it. It's just this raw attraction. Yeah, you can't explain it. It just is what it is. You know, it's just a fact of life. Yeah, this reading's a little bit all over the place in comparison to the other groups. I want to get your astro dice, but if I notice more stuff with your tarot as I'm rolling, I'll mention it. So pile 3, oh, I forgot to say, this may be a little bit loud, so if you're wearing earbuds, maybe lower the volume. Pile 3's future spouse's physical appearance. Okay, we have the second house, and we have Pisces. No wonder I was picking up this energy. The Pisces people, oh my gosh. My mom, my best friend, I attract a lot of Pisces women into my life. Like, I think it's because of some issues I have with my mom, but I have had at least 4 major friendships with a Pisces woman in my life, like Pisces females. Like, I just attract them. I don't, like, it is what it is. So I've seen this happen a lot with Pisces people, where because they are so inherently like psychic and spiritual and connected in that way, even if they're not aware of it, even if it's just on a subconscious level, they just attract a lot of different energy. People just come up and talk to them. Like they'll be minding their own business, and I see it all the time. It would frustrate me so much. I would go to the grocery store or something with my mom, and I would like turn and look, and you know, someone is telling her their whole life story, and she's too nice. Well, too polite, maybe, I don't know, like to say like, oh, okay, you know, and just walk away. And so, you know, my mom's like trapped there, and I would get so frustrated with her, like, come on, like, we gotta go, you don't know this person, like, you don't owe them anything, like, we gotta go, you know, like, you know, like, we gotta go, you know, and I'm a Capricorn rising, so, like, I can't understand that. People don't approach me, I can tell you that. And so I'm like, we've got to go, like, this person is like glomming onto you, like this is uncomfortable, you don't know them, this seems unsafe, like we gotta go. And yeah, like it just happens. With my friends, I would see the same thing happen with them. Like I was in a bookstore with a friend, and all of a sudden this woman comes up to us and she's handing us this book and she's telling us we should buy it. And I'm like looking at my friend and I'm like, this is your fault. Like this would never happen to me if I was on my own. And so it's something like that where your future spouse, just something about their energy, like people are just so drawn to it. So drawn to it. And with the second house here, your future spouse could be like financially well off. You know, they could be definitely materially abundant. This could also signify that they do like to wear designer clothes, or they do invest money into their style or their appearance. You know, this is someone who, you know, they make sure they get their nails done, or they pay for a gym membership, or they, you know, go for facials, or they see a dermatologist regularly, or they, you know, they will buy like teeth whitening stuff. I don't know, like they just spend money on their physical appearance, you know, it can vary. Yeah. All right, let's get some more. We have the 7th house and we have Taurus. Okay, yeah, so definitely with Taurus now, they spend some money on their physical appearance. Like, don't let them mislead you and think that they're not putting in effort, because they are. They 100% are with Taurus energy here. With the 7th house, this is the house of relationships. So I definitely feel like even though this person is attracting a lot of energy, if the combination of like Taurus and the 7th house, they're going to be very committed to you, you know, and like once they decide on you, they've decided, and they're going to be very loyal to you. So I feel like that's just a separate message. If that was making you nervous that a lot of people are going to be drawn to this person, don't worry about it. They are going to be very faithful to you. With the 7th house too, they're very attractive. Like that's Libra, Venus, they are very attractive. Taurus is also Venus, very attractive. We have Gemini and we have the 8th house. Yeah, this person's sexual energy off the charts. And I feel like that duality, people are very drawn to duality. And so this person's both quiet and loud. This person's energy is slippery. This person is hard to define, hard to put into words. You know, this person's a little bit of an enigma. You know, I've been kind of like struggling to like harness their energy because it's so big and so loud, and yet they pull it back. It's water and it's fire, you know, it's earth and it's air. Like they are someone who is like a walking contradiction at times. And so it is hard to pin them down. And I think this person may have a first impression that's very different than their actual personality. And that keeps you guessing. It keeps pulling you in. So this person could be like, I myself, like, they may have an ascendant. Like my ascendant is in Capricorn. So that's earth. But then my sun is in Leo, that's fire. But then my moon is in Gemini, that's air. That's kind of a mixed bag, right? So like your future spouse could have a birth chart that's very spread out like that, where the key planets are in different signs, different houses. It's a mixed bag. And so this person has many facets to them, and they're not all in fire energy. They're not all in earth energy. And so that means that a lot of people are drawn to them. And remember with Pisces too, Pisces is a little piece of every sign that came before it, because Pisces is the 12th sign. It's at the end of the zodiac. So Pisces essentially like steals a little bit from each sign to create Pisces, two fish swimming in the opposite direction. And now we have Gemini, the twins, the lovers, duality again. So yeah, I feel like it's hard to pin this person down. It's hard to describe them, and you'll experience this yourself. Like when you're trying to explain to your friends or your family like what this person is like, you may feel like there just aren't the right words to like capture their energy, especially because it's such an intense energy with the 8th house. It's so intense. But yeah, also like if you think of like the infinity symbol, like if you turn the 8 on its side, like I feel like the physical attraction is not going to fizzle out with this person. It's going to stay consistent throughout your relationship and your marriage. You know, it's not going to fizzle out. I feel like the sparks are always going to be flying here, you know, like to an extent. Which archetypes best represent your future spouse's physical appearance? Pile 3, please, Spirit. And you see the 8s, right? 8. Like it's just a repeating theme here. That's Scorpio, Pluto energy. We have the Messiah, serving humanity with humility. Yeah, like people are drawn to your future spouse as if they have some sort of answer for them. You know, like, again, like they attract those lost souls. And I think there's something about them, almost like your future spouse could be, like people put them in a position of authority. And it's like they're not asking for that. Oh my God, I just said position of authority, and then we have Queen energy. Like, yeah, there's something about them. Like people put them on a pedestal. People look up to them, you know, and it's like, what am I doing to cause this? I did say Nicki Minaj energy, and now we have Queen. Like she has a whole album called Queen, okay? But yeah, it's like they just have this commanding presence. And yeah, I feel networker. Yep. They just attract so much. They attract so much. And I feel like they're a little bit of a chameleon. And that's part of what makes it hard to pin down their energy, because they are adapting and transforming. Scorpio energy is also the energy of transformation. The 8th house, they transform based upon different social settings. And so how they are with you may be very different than how they are at public, or how they are with family or friends or work. And you know, you may like that you only get a certain side to them that no one else has the privilege of seeing, or it may be a bit frustrating to you that you don't always recognize your future spouse when they're around other people. You may feel like that's inauthentic, but it's more so that is their essential nature, is to be transformative, is to be a chameleon. That's who they are. They're not meant to have this fixed energy. And, you know, to try to put them in a box would be a disservice to them. Yes. Now, I feel like, again, like the way they carry themselves, again, like you would imagine like a queen would be like very regal, very upright. And yet this person is slouching a lot. This person seems very laid back, right? And so, again, it's like this mismatch to them. You know, they're like commanding this authority, but they're slouching. You know, like they're trying to withdraw their energy, and yet they're attracting all these people who look to them like they have an answer for something. It's very interesting energy. I do feel like this person could have long hair, or longer hair than is like typical for their gender. They could also, like you see, like, you know, I'm thinking of like the man buns. That could be a thing. Or maybe they just have shaggy hair if they're a man. Yeah, that's coming through. Again, like there's their physical appearance itself, like their body is just like draws in attention. Something about the shape of their body draws in attention. I also feel like, again, like you see how different all the clothes look. Like they don't have a set style or aesthetic, you know, like it's just based upon the situation or mood or however they're feeling that day. But I feel like what they do wear, again, garners attention, garners attention. I'm trying to think if there are any other messages coming through here. I do feel like this person could have something about their nose. Like they either have a very delicate small nose, or they have like a strong like Roman nose. Something about their nose. Something about their nose. I feel like you're really gonna like their side profile. Like when they turn to the side, you're gonna be really attracted to that. And remember how I said like you're attracted to weird things. Like that wouldn't be the first thought. Like usually when we think of attraction, we think of, I don't know, like a six-pack or, you know, like nice lips or nice eyes, something like that. And you're over here like, man, their side profile is hot. You know, like it's odd. It's an odd attraction. They just bring about, they awaken feelings in you that you never expected. Pile 3. You're like, what is this reading? What is your future spouse? You're like, Bethany, stop being sassy. Okay. Pile 3. Your future spouse's physical appearance. What else do we need to know? Pile 3. I feel like your future spouse is someone who is attractive to like multiple types of people. Like people of the same gender who are heterosexual would still be attracted to this person. Like people who don't seem, like for example, if someone is always attracted to very like clean cut, you know, conservative type of people, and then they are somehow attracted to your future spouse, even though they're kind of like a little bit louder and bolder and less, you know, clean cut. They just, I don't know, they just awaken things in people, you know? People don't know why they're so into them, but they are. The volcano, yes, like, it's just an explosion, like, people don't know why. I feel like with the boar here and the glove, it's like, again, they awaken this this like sexual energy in people. Like they make you take the gloves off, you know, like they awaken this. It does feel very masculine with the boar and the volcano, I will say that. But they just awaken something. They get people out of their like prim and proper kind of mode. I feel like it's because your future spouse to an extent breaks certain social norms. You know, they kind of just do their own thing because they're used to, like in their childhood, they were an outsider. So, you know, as an adult, they're like, they don't really care what people think, you know, they're just like, eh, you know, and so they just, you know, kind of that energy when, okay, when you're in like high school and there's like the class clown and, you know, they're the funniest person, everybody knows them, but even though everybody knows them and everyone kind of likes them, and, you know, they speak up in class, you know, they're talkative, they're not, you know, a shrinking violet or anything like that, they still don't really belong to any clique, and they don't really have like a set friend group. So like even though this person seems like charismatic and like everyone laughs at their jokes and everyone likes them, no one is actually close to them. No one actually knows a lot about them. No one knows what their home life is like. No one is their like best friend, or like, you know, they don't have anyone that you would say like, oh, that's their friend. They have more of like acquaintances, you know? So it's kind of like that. It's kind of that energy. And then with the braid here, yeah, like they get people out of that prim and proper mode. Like they get you to let your hair down and have some fun. It feels very freeing with this person. Again, they could have longer hair, you know, in general. They also, you may want them to cut their hair. Like if you don't like the shaggy hair look, or you don't like long hair, if this is a man and you don't like long hair on a man, they may be willing to cut their hair for you. I don't know, that's a very specific message, but it did come out, so I wanted to mention it. Yeah, they may be willing to clean up for you a little bit. I'm thinking of like Jim Halpert on The Office when he's with Karen. I think it's when she's like, you need to cut your hair, you look homeless, which is awful to say, awful, awful, awful to say, but you may make them cut their hair. Okay. All right, so these are going to be more general messages, but if we get anything specific about their physical appearance, I will mention it. Again, you're going to like their teeth. I don't know why that keeps coming up with the teeth. Pile 3. Also, like, I feel like if this is a man, they definitely have some chest hair or some leg hair that you're into. I don't know. It's odd things. I'm just gonna get more general messages. Spirit or your future spouse's higher self, whatever they want you to know about this connection at this time. I'm just gonna leave it open-ended. So we have Earth sign. We'll see what else we get here. Finances. Pile 3, social media. Ah, okay. Maybe this person is a public figure. Also, I should say maybe they cut their hair like right before they meet you. Maybe Spirit is wanting to tell you that, yeah, they have long hair now, but they won't, you know, when they meet you. Okay, yeah, okay. With the earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, this could be talking about you. This could also be talking about how I was picking up before, that maybe their ascendant is in an earth sign, but then their sun or their moon is in water, fire, air. And so their actual personality, like when you get to know them beyond the surface, like first impression is like very different. And so your first impression of them may be quite different than how they actually are. With finances here, I feel like your future spouse in general right now is just focused on their career, you know, trying to get their money right. They could be a public figure. This could be signifying that they make their money through social media, and that could be explaining why there was like all eyes on them, all eyes on them, all eyes on them. You know, that makes sense, right? If they're a public figure or they have a large social media following. With celebrate here, this could be signifying that they could have recently had some success in their career and they have something to celebrate, or maybe they have something exciting coming up like a graduation or a promotion, or maybe their side hustle is growing. Could also signify that they like to get out and celebrate, and you could be meeting this person at a celebration, at a party, at a public event. This could also signify that you meet this person on social media or on a dating app, something like that. Ah, twin flame, no wonder. No wonder. With the Tarot del Fuego deck and twin flame, like, come on. Come on. Okay, keep the flame going. I feel like the passion is gonna keep going regardless. This could also be signifying that if you're worried you're not gonna meet this person, keep going, keep your faith. It's gonna happen when it's meant to happen. This mirroring self and soul connection. I know some of you may be afraid of a twin flame connection. I don't blame you. I don't know a ton about twin flame connections, nor do I feel like I've ever experienced one personally, but they do seem quite intense. And so I wouldn't worry too much about it. In terms of like your own spiritual development, like if you feel like you've worked on yourself and you've done a lot of healing, I don't think you have to be afraid of a twin flame connection, personally. Again, never have experienced it myself before, so I don't want to speak on something I haven't experienced. But if you feel like this isn't your message and you don't want to claim it, then don't claim it. But for some of you, that would explain all the fire and all of the like passion that I was picking up on, and yeah, just how you can't help but be drawn to this person and they're awakening things in you that you've never felt before. That seems in alignment to me with the twin flame connection. But remember, this is your future spouse. You know, this isn't a flash in the pan romance here. Yeah. I feel like this person is going to come in when you've closed out a karmic cycle, or they've closed out a karmic cycle. If it's a twin flame connection, both of you may have cleared out a karmic cycle and you're spiritually evolved enough to handle a twin flame connection. And for those of you who have no idea what a twin flame connection is, from my understanding, again, never personally experienced it, but from my understanding, it is the idea that when your soul reincarnated or incarnated into this lifetime, your soul was split. And so half of your soul is in another body. And so when you meet this person, it's like finding your other half. And I think that makes the idea of that makes people nervous, because then it's like, well, they're completing me. Am I not a complete and whole person on my own? You know, I feel like that's where people get afraid with twin flame connections, because it feels like too much. Whereas a soulmate connection feels a lot softer. And so, yeah, I from my understanding, that's the deal with the twin flame connection. Okay, we have wishes, stars align, dreams come true, fulfillment. This person is going to feel like a wish come true, you know, and I think, you know, it's passion. Like I'm also seeing passion, desire, heat, attraction, and chemistry. Yeah, I feel like that's the trouble with it though, is that it is so intense. There is so much physical attraction. There is so much passion. That may overwhelm you a little bit. Okay, so pile 3, we're gonna use our grab bag first. So there are physical traits in here, and there are also love languages and, you know, careers and stuff like that. If you wanna lower the volume, feel free to. Pile 3, who is your future spouse? What do we need to know? Pile 3, who is your future spouse? Pile 3. Pile 3, okay. Make sure I don't miss any. Okay, they're a good listener. Like to see that. They like to travel. They're an animal lover. They have pets. They could be older than you. Now, this doesn't mean that they have to be 10 years older than you. Okay, it could be that they're a couple months older or a couple years older than you. They're very affectionate. Okay, some of you, they're older, and then for others of you, they're same age, close in age. When I was saying older, like I felt a little bit of a hesitancy when I was saying it, and that's why I gave that disclaimer, and now it makes sense because some of you watching would not want someone older. Some of you are maybe a little bit afraid of like dating someone, especially like 5 years or older than you, so I feel like, yeah, that's why it's a mixed group. Some of you would like someone older, some of you are like, no. Okay, let's get your matchsticks now. Same thing, this may be a little loud. Pile 3's future spouse. Pile 3's future spouse. I feel like some of you, your future spouse is athletic without really trying, or maybe they're not aware of it. Again, like I feel like your future spouse could be great at sports or athletic things, but it's like they don't want any type of competition. Like they're just not into it. You know, like they just don't want to participate, so they wouldn't even try. Like, yeah, they would not be into it at all. I don't know why that message came up, but it did. Okay, we have make out in a movie theater. You guys just can't keep your hands off of each other. We have plan a weekend away just for the two of you. That makes sense if they like to travel. And again, they just want to be with you. And then we have leave a note in a pocket or bag for your partner to discover. Yeah, I feel like they're really romantic. I feel like they're really romantic. And other people, I think, would be surprised by that. Because again, they don't show that side to everyone. Okay, this is a message from your future spouse's higher self, what they want you to know at this time. It says, my beloved, though we may be physically apart, spiritually we are always united. Yeah, if you're a twin flame. For love to... I need to stop teasing you guys. For love transcends space and time, nothing is missing. Oh, I love that. Nothing is missing. Like, even, like if you are a twin flame, even though your souls are split between two physical bodies, nothing is missing. Like, even though I'm in this separate vessel from you, we're always connected. So you are always whole and complete, just like I am always whole and complete, because spiritually we are connected. And the fact that we're split into two different bodies really doesn't matter, because we are always psychically, spiritually connected. That's beautiful. That reassurance is beautiful. See? Your future spouse's higher self always knows the right thing to say. Always. Okay. So this is just a general message from Spirit, but if it applies to your reading, we'll connect it. Okay. So it says, tending the garden. Meet Gala. Her peculiar flowers bloom in the sun of her nurturing love and care. In a tucked away corner of the forest, she planted a few precious seeds. For months she watered the earth and sang patient love songs. Above the surface nothing appeared to be happening, so the other kitties didn't understand why she spent so much time in the overlooked spot. Eventually, delicate emerald tendrils peeked out of the soil. Gala loved and protected them until wondrous blossoms burst forth. What seeds can you nurture in your heart? What garden are you trying to grow? I think for some of you, you've been trying to manifest your future spouse, and the message from Spirit is essentially saying, like, don't give up. Like, keep trying to manifest this person. You know, keep your faith, set your intentions. You know, when it's time to let go and trust that it's coming, do that. But you are actively manifesting them, and you're not crazy and you're not wrong for trying to do so. And so the name of the game at this point, I think, is just patience, okay? It may be a lesson you're meant to learn in this lifetime. Also, this particular card is the cover of the Oracle like deck, like the box. And so every time that happens, you know, when a card that's featured on the cover comes out in a reading, I'm always like, aw, like they're only gonna have eyes for you. You're gonna be the center of their world, like you're the star. I just think that's a cute message. Okay, so pile 3, this was your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope you enjoyed it. Please consider I was gonna say please consider watching. You've already watched. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, and hitting the notification bell so you always know when I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to watch the ads. I know they can be irritating, so I do appreciate everyone who chooses to do that. You know, you can put them on mute, do something else in the background. You don't actually have to watch them. I don't care. And so, yes, thank you for letting me do this reading for you. I know it was a little bit all over the place, but I had fun with it, and I hope you had fun watching. And yeah, I'll see you all in my next one. Take care, pile 3.